Alright, into customs, and today's run is a bit of a compromise because I think the goal that I set myself was a bit too lofty. I guess you can judge that at the end, but I will explain the dream scenario that I was going for that I wasn't able to get. It'll be a bit easier to understand when we actually get the team going. But for now, I think I'm actually going to set up here for a level 2 frog swap. Yeah, we're just going to keep the pig, and then hopefully at some point I'll use the pig stats and put them onto a higher level a higher tier unit. And I think it's going to be seagull, although I don't really remember this run all that well. It's actually only a couple of weeks old. I think it was the first week of March that this was recorded. So we take the level up on the frog, so it's primed and ready to frog swap. However, yeah, we level up into gelada and blowfish, which isn't going to help in terms of stat swapping. Actually, setting up a stat swap is kind of counter to actually having multiple capybaras on the team. I find myself doing this a lot, where I'm kind of mixing and matching two different early game scaling methods that don't necessarily make a lot of sense. So yeah, if we have the double cappy, then we could end up getting a seagull in the shop that isn't going to be too different in terms of stats than the units that we have on our team already. But since we've invested in the frog, we might as well carry on at this point. I don't think going for level 3 frog makes much sense, even though I do need a lot of high tier units. Now here, I'm actually going to watch the last opponent to check if they were free to play. But you can immediately see that they had chipmunk there, and they've also got snapping turtle. I'm not sure if they had more than just puppy pack there, but they were not free to play. So I didn't gift them a pack, which I have been doing now and again just for my own amusement, but also to try and increase the number of people who have these packs in customs and therefore increase the variety of teams. So here we go, we get the seagull. You can see that it gets buffed up to a 6-5, and we could have just sold the cappies and it would have been pretty big at that point anyway. We don't necessarily need the seagull to be huge. The more important thing is finding the beluga and getting it to level 3 as soon as we can. But we're also just going to use the seagull to get melon on everything. We don't actually need a specific perk until turn 11 onwards, so we might as well take the free perks while we're offered them. A draw is fine, because I do expect it's going to take a little while to get the full team set up. But I think here, do I go for level 2 crow or not? I could just level up the lobster. But yeah, it doesn't look like I'm going to do that. We're just going to keep feeding the seagull. And unfortunately here we faced this gigantic duck team, but luckily the units at the back of the squad are big enough. Now actually there again, notice that opponent had 1 heart. We have 4 hearts, so I still don't understand why that keeps happening. But here we go, we get a behemoth. Now behemoth is required for the build, however I don't actually want it on the team. But what I decided to do here was just take it anyway, and then we're going to try and Water of Youth or Competo it into one of the tier 6s that I do actually need. I don't remember if it actually happens in this run or not. I guess we'll find out. So the other units we're looking for on tier 6 are Real Velociraptor and Lamprey. And then on tier 5 I also want Beluga. So the concept for this team, as we get matched against Rev GT, possibly random packing here with a double polar bear. I'm not sure. Rev did recently post a video about doing the gauntlet, so that could, maybe that was a gauntlet run, I don't know. I'll link that video in the description. So yeah, now I'm just rolling down for Beluga because it's the most important part of the puzzle, and you know, I want to get the Beluga as quickly as possible so that I can start leveling it up and having the behemoth that is going to be spawned from it be as big as possible. Yeah, I guess I'm also going to take some stats from the cow. We'll go for the chocolate milk first and then take the level up, and there we go. We do get Real Velo. So I'm just going to sell the Cappy onto Real Velo and then use the upgraded milk on it. it immediately gets the free melon from the seagull. So it's going to start regenerating the melon that we have on the seagull already as well, which really should give us a very strong chance of winning from here. But unfortunately, it immediately matches us with this Leech Camel team. It just shows you how strong Leech Camel can be when they hit it early. You can see I'm just double checking. It's Leech Camel plus Owl. So level 3 Camel, basically just a one big unit team. That one Leech knocked out virtually our entire squad. And we had triple melon as well. So I take the cat, there's the Beluga. We do also get the waffle. And I think at this point, I'd had many attempts where I was just trying to go for a purely mechanical team where the stats weren't particularly high. And it was really just about getting the combo set up. And it just had no chance at this particular time of recording. So we had to go with this multiple melon option and hope that that's going to be good enough. Luckily there, the ability of the Mimic means that it doesn't hit the Velociraptor, so we managed to win as a result. Now I don't want to put any stats onto the Beluga, but I think here I'm going to feed the Lamprey, or maybe I'm just going to put the stats onto something else. The Lamprey needs to stay alive past start of battle, but maybe I think that taking the melon is going to be good enough for that purpose. The other potential outcome is that we get Lamprey from Water of Youthing the Beluga. Not the Beluga, the Behemoth. So I don't necessarily want to put stats onto the Lamprey if we do end up getting one by transforming it. Now actually there I passed up the Water of Youth in the shop, so I don't know if that was just a mistake. But again, the matchmaking pairs us with this team that had basically a 50-50 board at the front, plus a bunch of other good stuff behind it. So it felt like at this point, the game was conspiring against me to ruin this run, which I'd been struggling to make happen for some time. So here you can now see the setup. Just ignore the Behemoth at the back. We would rather that was a Lamprey or something else, but for just now, we'll just keep it as a Behemoth. Now, the original concept was to have something like a Slug in front of the Beluga, and then the Lamprey would have Kiwano. So it would instantly knock out the Beluga, and then it would create a chain reaction like this, where the Pita bread gets applied onto the Behemoth. Then the Lamprey hits it because the Slug ahead fainted, and then that gets repeated as many times as we get real Velo triggers. Now, I did get a couple of games where that was set up, but most of the time they just fell apart. When you have the Lamprey with such terrible starting stats, requiring it to stay alive is a bit of a burden at times. So I think this was the compromise really, just play the Beluga at the front. And yeah, okay, we immediately face Dolphin team. Dolphin is one of the most common units in customs, I guess partly because it's free to play, but also it's just very good and disruptive. But because we had the huge Behemoth at the back, we win anyway. Now we get the level 2, so the Behemoth will be 24-24, which gives us a much better chance of the Pita bread actually getting to activate. I think we've only had one round where it actually mattered so far. I'm sure there are probably a few different things you could do with this setup. You could put a Hurt Pet inside the Beluga as well. And then look at this, it matches us with opposing Lamprey, another Leech plus Camel team. We do get the double activation on the Pita bread, but it doesn't really matter. Thankfully, the Triceratops doesn't give the stat to the Camel at the front. I'm not sure if that actually mattered or not, but pretty rare to see that type of opposing team with a Lamprey on it, even if Leech Camel is super common. So let me know in the comments, how would you improve this team? Do you think it would be possible to win with the setup I described with Kiwano? I would love to see that team working at full efficiency.